Hello, friends. Now I'll be reading a general dictation on the topic of Indian heritage at 100 words per minute in 5 seconds. Begin. India has a rich and unique cultural heritage and has managed to preserve its established traditions throughout history by absorbing customs, traditions, and ideas from both invaders and immigrants. Indian culture evolved with confluence of several regional cultures which witnessed cultural influences from other countries and consequently also influenced the culture of several other regions. Indian culture is strongly influenced by various religions and their respective folklores and art. While the classic influence is still evident in rural Indian culture, the urban India is now widely influenced by global popular culture. Indian is usually divided into five major cultural divisions, each with their own styles. Some considers that there is a more pronounced difference between the cultures of South India and Northeast India, whereas East and West Indian cultures portray a mingling of northern and southern influences with their own peculiar forms. Along with regional diversity, languages have created diverse traditions of culture in India. There are a large number of languages in India. 216 of them are spoken by more than 10,000 communities. The two major families of languages are Dravidian languages and Indo-Aryan languages, the former largely confined to the South India and the latter to the North India. The Constitution of India has stipulated the usage of Hindi and English to be the two official languages of communication for the national government. Sanskrit served as the classical language of India and Eastern Asia, as it equated in importance to Latin or Greek in Europe. It is studied as far as Japan due to cultural and religious ties. Each of the languages of India has numerous speakers and thus their cultural traditions are strong. The earliest literary traditions of India were mostly oral and were later transcribed. Most of these spring from Hindu traditions and are represented by sacred works like the Vedas, the epics of the Mahabharata, and the Ramayana. Tamil Sangam literature represents some of India's oldest secular traditions. Many Buddhist and Jain works are in Prakrit languages like Pali. The classical playwright Kalidasa is widely regarded as the greatest poet and dramatist in the Sanskrit language. The place bestowed to Shakespeare in English literature is similar to that held by Kalidasa in Sanskrit literature. On the arrival of Muslim dynasties, Islamic culture dominated most of the medieval Indian literature with the spread of Persian influence and the rise of famous poets such as Amir Khusro. Simultaneously, India also saw the growth of literature in regional languages. Colonial rule prepared the stage for modern literature, exemplified by the works of Rabindranath Tagore, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, Madhusudan Dutt, Munshi Premchand, Devagi Nandan Khatri, and Vaikam Muhammad Bashir, among many others. Indian writers in modern times like R.K. Narayan, Arundhati Roy, Vikram Seth, Kushwant Singh, Salman Rushdie, Anita Desai, and others are the cynosure of wide acclaim today. both in Indian languages and in English. India has strong traditions of poetry as well as prose writing. This is often closely related to musical traditions, and most poetry can be attributed to religious movements. Writers and philosophers were often also skilled poets. Poetry also served as an important non-violent tool of nationalism during the Indian freedom movement. Figures such as Rabindranath Tagore in modern times and poets such as Kabir in medieval times rekindled spark in people's heart through their intense verses. Two references of poetry from Tagore's Gitanjali serve as national anthems of both India and Bangladesh. The music of India includes multiple varieties of folk, popular, pop, and classical music. India's classical music tradition, including Carnatic and Hindustani music, noted for the use of several ragas, has a history spanning millennia and has developed over several eras. Even today, music remains instrumental to the religious inspiration, cultural expression, and pure entertainment. Alongside distinctly subcontinental forms, there are major influences from Persian, Arab, and British music. Indian genres like filmy songs and Bhangra have become popular throughout the United Kingdom, South and East Asia, and around the world. India is a land of numerous classical dance forms, each of which can be traced to different parts of the country. Each forms represent the cultural and ethos of a particular region or a group of people. The eight main styles are Bharatanatyam, Kathak, Odissi, Kuchipudi, Mohiniyattam, Bhangra, Manipuri, and Kathakali. Besides these, there are several forms of Indian folk dances and special dances observed in regional festivals. Cave paintings from Ajanta, Bagh, Ellora, and Sittanavasal, and temple paintings are testimony to the love of nature and God. Most rock arts in India are Hindu or Buddhist in origin. A freshly made colored design on floor is still a common sight outside the doorstep of many Indian homes. Madhubani painting, Rajput painting, Tanjore painting, Mughal painting are some notable genres of Indian art, while Raja Ravi Verma, Nandalal Bose, Gemini Roy are some modern painters. The first few sculptures of India date back to the Indus Valley civilization, where stone and bronze carvings have been discovered. This is one of the earliest instances of sculpture in the world. Later, as Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism developed further, India produced some of the most intricate bronzes as well as unrivaled temple carvings in the world. Some huge shrines, such as the one at Ellora, were not actually constructed using blocks but were instead carved out of solid rock, which makes them perhaps the largest and most intricate sculptures in the world. The pink sandstone sculptures of Mathura, evolved during the Gupta period, exhibit a very high finesse of execution and delicacy in the modeling. Newer sculptures in the northwest in stucco, schist, or clay display very strong blending of Indian post Gupta mannerism and classical influence, Hellenistic or possibly even Greco-Roman. Meanwhile, elsewhere in India, less anatomically accurate styles of human representation evolved, leading to the classical art that the world is now familiar with and contributing to Buddhist and Hindu sculptures throughout Asia. Stop. Please join the Telegram group in the comment section for the PDF. Thank you.